There is a place on this earth that has never truly belonged to anyone. Not because no one wanted it, but because everyone did. Look at it from above, and you begin to understand why. Mountains that stop armies, deserts that swallow them, and between them, a plateau that connects every world that has ever mattered. East to west, north to south, ancient to modern. This land has no allegiance. It has only position, and position is everything. 25 centuries ago, Rome was the most powerful force the world had ever produced. Its legions had marched from Britain to the sands of North Africa and crushed everything they touched. Everything except this. For 700 years, Roman and Persian armies met each other on these plains, again and again. The same deserts, the same passes, the same war. Neither side could finish the other, because this wasn't simply a war between two kingdoms. It was a war over the center of the world, and the center of the world does not surrender easily. To understand why empires have always come here, you have to understand what moved through here. Silk from China, spices from India, gold from Arabia, ideas from everywhere, all of it, every thread, every coin, every secret, passed through this land. The Silk Road was not a road through Persia, it was Persia. And whoever controlled it, controlled the wealth of the entire ancient world. This is what Rome wanted. This is what every empire after Rome wanted. Not the sand, not the mountains, the passage, the irreplaceable, irreducible passage. By the 7th century, something had broken. Rome's eastern heir, Byzantium, and the great Sassanid Persian Empire had been fighting the same war for so long that neither could remember what winning was supposed to look like. Whole provinces emptied, armies reduced to shadows of themselves, treasuries gone. Two of the most sophisticated civilizations the world had ever produced had spent 300 years destroying each other over this same strip of earth. And what did they have to show for it? A continent of ruins and an enemy they had never seen coming. Out of the Arabian desert, something new. Not a dynasty, not a kingdom, something that moved differently, something that had no memory of the old exhaustion, no respect for the old boundaries, no fear of the old empires. Within a single generation, both Byzantium and Persia were gone, swallowed, transformed. The greatest geopolitical realignment the ancient world had ever seen, accomplished in the time it takes a child to become an adult. The names on the map changed, the borders changed, the rulers changed, but the land did not change at all. The roads were still there, the passes were still there, the position was still there, waiting, as it always had, for the next power to understand its value. 1,000 years passed. Dynasties rose and fell across this land like seasons. And then, in the 19th century, a new kind of empire arrived. The British Empire, the largest the world had ever seen. 1/4 of the Earth's surface, ruled from a small island in the North Atlantic. And, somewhere to the north, the Russian Empire, expanding southward, searching for warm water ports, for access to the open ocean, for room. Two colossal powers, circling each other across the roof of the world, never quite going to war directly. Because both knew the cost would be catastrophic. Historians call this the Great Game. And the board they played it on was Persia, again, always. Britain didn't want Persia for its people. It didn't want Persia for its culture, or its history, or its ancient cities. Britain wanted Persia for one reason only. India, the jewel of the British Empire, the source of its wealth, its power, its global reach, sat vulnerable on the other side of this plateau. And if Russia ever crossed it, India was gone. So, Persia became a buffer. Not a partner, not an ally, a buffer, a human shield for someone else's empire. And the Persians, who had been the center of the world's greatest civilization, who had stopped Rome itself, found themselves reduced to a piece on someone else's board. The same piece, in the same position, that it had always occupied. Now remove the Roman eagles, remove the British redcoats, remove the Russian imperial flags, replace them with what you know. 1953. American intelligence officers land in Tehran. A democratically elected prime minister is removed from power because he wanted to control his own country's oil. 1979. Revolution. The embassy falls, the hostages, the helicopters in the desert. 1980. A war begins next door. America, quietly, chooses a side. 1988. A passenger jet. 290 people shot down over the Persian Gulf by an American warship.